Guys, we have exciting news. Check it out. Check it out. Hold on. Hold on. Let me show you. Boom. That stuff matters. You see it? We got merch. It's so cool. That stuff matters apparel. Who would have thought? I would have never thought, but I wanted to show you some of the stuff we got. Check it out. So, let my brain work. Okay, first, that stuff matters. The classic pepper color tee, small town grit, big time conversations. That's what we're all about here. That's what we're all about. Moving right along. What's up, guys? That Stuff Matters with Nathan Stuffelbean, your podcast host. Such a weirdo that he's making shirts of himself, but here we are. Okay, I love this one. I'm going to get that one. I'm going to rock it. We had to do it. We had to do it. That Stuff Matters. 6 degrees of Ian Thudium. How is everybody connected to Ian Thudium somehow? They bring him up. They mention him in the podcast. But shout out to our friend, our co-host, Ian Thudium. Say it with your chest. I can't wait to get Emerson in this shirt and let her film a little snippet where you guys can hear how she says it. It'll just mean a little different once you hear that. But That Stuff Matters. Say it with your chest. Then we got the Say It With Your Chest series, and we're still working on these. But how about some Say It With Your Chest, make some noise, okay? That stuff matters. This is, make some noise in a rural community. That's where we're going with this. Get loud. Do your thing and do it loudly. Be proud of it, okay? Be proud of where you come from and what you're doing. Okay? Do I even need to say anything? They is us. They can't save us. Quit getting on social media and going, they need to do this, or they should do that, or someone should get this. Why don't we have that? There is no they. They is us. Okay? That's coming from our friend Niall Thudium. And you guys are going to hear it in this episode, but such a powerful little snippet of what Nessa says. She says it, and it really hit me. And regardless of how bad we think we have it and what we're dealing with, God is going to give me joy regardless. Man, how about that? That was powerful. But we're just getting going on these. We're going to have a whole line. When the guests come on and they've got those great one-liners, we're going to drop them on a shirt. We're also going to have some hats. We're going to customize these, and you guys will be able to, get tank tops or hoodies or whatever. But this is your way to support the podcast if you really enjoy what we're doing and want to continue to see it grow. If you want to shout out the people that are on it. And, of course, that as we sell these items, we are definitely going to pull back a portion of the proceeds to make a donation to local organizations. So I just want you guys to know that. Also, real quick, advertisements. We've had some people just support us, and that is incredible. But I wanted to touch on that again. We've got some different levels of advertisements, whether you just want to be mentioned on the episodes or if you want me to come in and film like a little commercial segment. We'll do it. And again, a portion of all that, any money we bring in, we're going to take a portion of that and give back to the organizations that we're having on and we're talking about, because the community is what we're here for. We're trying to teach others that, service mentality. I want my kids to see that all the times they saw me acting like an idiot, at least it was worth something. It was for something. So huge shout out. But I hope you guys like the quick little merch line we got coming out. And this will be soon. It'll be posted on social media so you guys can get your orders in. Thank you so much for supporting That Stuff Matters.
That stuff matters, carved in stone. Every stitch and every tone. Living, loving, grinding
What's up, guys? Welcome to That Stuff Matters, episode 10. Unbelievable. 10. I can't believe it. Get a little drink of my Sonic drink. Chase it with an energy drink. Ready to go. So, what are we doing? Where are we at? Episode 10. It's a milestone to get to the double digits because when you start, you just do not know if this thing is anyone even listening. Hello out there. And the fact that you guys have poured in and listened means so freaking much. Gosh, love you guys. Okay, new segment. You've got mail. If you guys want to send us mail, you can do so to 110 East Brooks, Brookfield, Missouri 64628. You can probably address that to That Stuff Matters or Shop Show Me, and I will read your mail. This one meant a lot to me, and that's why I wanted to talk about it on the podcast because this person made such an impact in my life. I can't even really describe the way that I approach kids, the way that I approach learning, the way that I approach day-to-day just activities. I can't help but think about all the things I watched her do, and I try to do things in a similar fashion. And I know that this person had an impact on many of your lives. She was a teacher for a long time, and I've never heard not one bad thing about her and how she kind of helped us and really put up with us, to be honest with you. Because, let's be honest, when you're a kid, you're not that great. So, without further ado, this is the card from Mrs. Cunningham. Mrs. C, man, great teacher. Dear Bean, I know I reached out to you about your podcast with Joel, but since then I've listened to Andrea's and Ian's as well, and I am just so darn impressed. Your interviewing abilities are to be applauded. I'm working on it. You make guests feel comfortable and heard, and if something is mentioned, skimmed over, you wrap back around and give space to that issue if it is important to hear more. Good for you for finding this format and making it so very interesting and fun and passionate and lively. Again, I don't know. I'm trying. I'm no Mrs. C. I love the graphics and the music and the guests and your wit and style. Shout out to our girl Courtney, who is always propelling you forward. Nailed it right there. I couldn't do anything without Courtney. I never have one idea she tells me is stupid. And I wish everyone knew that she does far more here than me. I'm just the person that's okay with being on a video screen or talking out in public. The partnership you've created, wait, start over. Courtney, who's always propelling you forward, that is a partnership you have created. Thanks for the work you've put into this. I'm a big podcast enthusiast, and this one has gone to the top of my favorites. That's unbelievable because I still think I'm awful. Keep being awesome and doing good things. It's always been in your DNA, even when you were the best TA I ever had for Spanish. Do you remember the books you put together for me? ? Stellar student. Unlike Joel, who apparently was an ass. Haha, I don't remember that. So, oh man, this made my day. This brought me to tears, honestly, because she's just a great teacher. So, means a lot that she had all those nice things to say about me when most of the time I feel like I'm a big idiot. So thank you, Miss C.
I would like anyone who watches this who also was taught by her, if she made a huge impact in your life, I want some comments. I want some comments, some stories. I want her to see it and just let her know how awesome she is. Man, moving right along. Projects that we've been working on. Check out this. Check this out. Let me find the center. So this is a track trophy, and it's for the Meadville boys 4x1 team. They broke a record, school record. They saw I had made one similar for Brookfield and said, hey, we want to do something like that. So here we go. I design the back plate first, is how I approach this. Pull it in Illustrator. I do this design. It's got the track around it. We got the Meadville M, the Eagles. We talk about the date they broke it, which was 5/10/25. Class 1 District 4, boys 4x1. They ran a 47.42, which is smoking fast. And shout out to Reese Myers, Walker Norris, Donovan Shrekeyes, and Traeger Wood. This was a fun project to work on. The glue is just finalizing on that. Design in Illustrator. I make cut files that will cut the lines that I send over to our laser, which is in front of me. Behind me is the printer that I print out the design on. I put the design onto the cutout, and then all of these pieces that you see that hold the baton, this is a cutout of the baton. I cut it into fours. These pieces were all designed in Illustrator, and then I create a cut file that I send to the cutter. I build inserts into the base plate that it all sets into, and then it's precisely cut so it fits just right, glues in, screws in some portions. I love it. I love doing that. Lets me be creative. It's like therapy, but it does take time. It takes time. And when you're using a laser, it's kind of cool because the width of the laser beam comes into play. Because if I'm cutting a hole that something else has to set into perfectly, the width of that beam will make the hole either too large or too small. So you have to adjust offsets. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of thinking. So not only do you have to design something that looks visually appealing, but then can you engineer it so that the parts fit together? And it's a very simple piece, a trophy, but to do 4 trophies, I mean, by the time I design, prototype, make one, make sure it fits, send it back to the laser to make 4 of them, get the glue, set everything, it just takes time. So sometimes projects take me all day or multiple days. So keep that in mind when I'm not the fastest person around. Next project, we got these hats. You guys know we make leather hats. I know you do. But we also, when we have a project like that, we can make these PVC patches. And right there. So these are really cool. There's a mold that's made based on the design. Every project we do gets a little bit of dog hair free. So this is their logo, and this is actually 3D. I mean, you probably can't really see it on camera, but this part sticks up, the white part, and then the black is the background. There's a mold that's made. There's the materials poured into the mold, and then that has to set. Then there's adhesive applied to the back of those. Then I take the patch and I will heat apply that onto the hat. So we'll get out a heat gun, we'll heat up the glue, we'll get it positioned just right. We'll use a hat press to kind of set it in place to give it a firm hold. And then to ensure that that PVC material doesn't come off, we take it over to the sewing machine, not the embroidery machine, the sewing machine. So by hand, I will guide the hat through, turn it, push it through, turn it. The stitching makes sure that patch is set. It will not come off. Again, I love the way these turn out. They look amazing, very high quality. It also takes a lot of time. And I just keep bringing that up because as you have a small business, sometimes because the business is small and it's so personal, the people that are coming here often know me. Um, and not these projects that I'm talking about, but it's very easy to send someone a message at 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday or 6 a.m. on, a Saturday. And try to keep in mind that just because small businesses are constantly here or working, or we are, or us personally, um, I never want to offend anyone because I didn't message you back soon enough. There's a lot going on. I have a board right here, right in front of me to list all the projects that I need to do. I built a system that when someone comes in, I enter it into the computer and it automatically populates into a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets color coded based on job type. Dates are entered. So based on the date you entered, emails are automatically generated and it fires off to myself or Courtney. Those messages can then pop up on our calendar on our phone. I built all that. If you guys want an episode where I show you how to do that, I could show you. It was all built free using Google tools and scripts and ChatGPT. My point is, we have a long list of projects that we're always trying to get to, and every single one is important to us. I just hope you don't ever feel like we're letting you down. Sometimes I don't even want to go out to places because I know people see me, they're probably thinking, man, why isn't he at work? He should be getting this done. Or when does he have time to do that podcast? That doesn't make any sense. Well, yes, but we do. So I get here at 5:30 in the mornings a lot of times, and that's when I'll film stuff like this. I try to get it all done. The podcast interviews, most of them, other than sometimes when people, just their schedule wouldn't work, I try to do in the morning, to be done before. So I'm having people come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I can have that podcast for sure done before 10, before we open. Be patient with me. I promise I'm working to improve. We have Xander running the embroidery machine. We've got Courtney making all the shirts and doing invoicing and some of the design. We are outsourcing design to local designers, freelancers here in town, just because I simply cannot do it all. We're working. We're trying to figure it out. We're growing. How do you do it? We're learning. We'll get better. And when I fail, you can watch me fail, and then we'll talk about it. Something that happened to me last week was someone came in, they're like, man, I love the podcast. I love what you're doing. I think it's so cool that you're willing to step out and talk about things like that because, and the way he phrased it was when he was growing up and like his friend group and everything, everybody was just too cool. Too cool to basically put themselves out there. And I see that a lot where people feel they're so worried about appearing imperfect. They are so worried about appearing like that they're not skilled at what they're trying to do, that they don't even do it. They're just like too cool for it. And I will say most of my life I've been the opposite of that, and I'm not afraid to be an idiot. So I hope that you guys can see that. I am by no means perfect, and when I fail, you're going to watch me fail, and hopefully we'll all learn together. That's the goal. That's the goal. Man, so much cool stuff going on. I just love it. I love you guys. I love the episodes. I just had someone reach out this morning. We got another cool one coming up about the animal shelter. I say that, I don't know where Champ's at. He's probably causing some trouble, but I love Champ, and I love dogs, and I hope we can talk about the animal shelter and the things that they're dealing with, and maybe how everyone can get involved and help that organization. Now, as we talk about small business, this person on this week's episode is someone that I watched as they grew up and started their journey through photography. And then I learned that she was also dealing with some health issues and things that affected her day to day. And she just kept taking these amazing pictures. And then she was at all the sporting events, and the combination of her and Matt Anderson, it was like, this is amazing. We are so lucky that we have these people. And she went on. She's in college now, and she was doing great big things in college. And then all of a sudden, I start seeing her at the weddings I was doing, or she was helping photographers there. And I felt like it's a really important message that kids can see specifically, but anyone as well, that as you are learning and maybe you have things in your life that you're dealing with that make you feel like you can't do it. There's something holding you back from whatever it is your goal is or your dream. And she did not let that stop her. So really, really exciting. Looking forward to your guys' reactions to this and how you learn about her, because just so awesome. So this person is a photographer, owns her own business. She's a college student. She's also dealing with diabetes. She's very strong in her faith, and her family, as you will find out, is very, very important to her. And I unintentionally brought her to tears, but very lucky to have on this week's guest. Without further ado, the founder of NDM Media. Let's meet and hear the story from Nessa Montgomery.
Nessa Montgomery, lands in her hand, catching the world in a flash. On command, she's got a fight in her blood, a cross on her chest, facing the storm, giving it her best. Sugar runs wild, but she won't break. Faith in her soul for every step she takes. Oh, Nessa, shining
What's up,
so
everybody?
bright.
Welcome to That Stuff Matters, episode 10. And we have one of my new favorite photographers. She's doing some amazing stuff. I just want everyone to meet Nessa Montgomery.
Hi, guys.
So just kind of, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you and all the things you do.
Okay, well, like he said, I'm Nessa Montgomery. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a photographer. My business is called NDM Media. I'm a big sister, oldest sibling. I'm in college. I'm a incoming sophomore at Northwest up in Maryville, and there I'm on the homecoming executive board. I'm in Alpha Delta Pi. And then this past school year, I was an intern at the athletic marketing department, and that's kind of how I got involved with all the sports. So I think that covers about everything.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, and I'm a type 1 diabetic. That's a huge part of my life that I guess
Okay.
I forgot about, but
Yeah, because
we'll
we're going
cover
to talk
today.
about that.
Yeah.
So, Bearcat.
Bearcat, go Cats.
You were doing some amazing pictures when you were in high school. Okay. And I know you were probably like, oh, it wasn't the best or whatever. You're thinking that, but they look fantastic. And then you go on and you're in college, and I see like the media stuff you're doing. And do you just enjoy the sports aspect of photography?
I mean, I enjoy all aspects of the photography, but athletics is really something that I dived into the fall because of that internship. And it opened up a whole new world. It's so full of action, and that is something that I love. And I think with the athletics, there's so many different stories behind it. And a lot of times with mine, what I like to capture is the stories that the people on the sidelines might not see. Like they can't see the details of the water bottles on the bench. They can't see like the players praying at the end zone. So that's kind of the things that I love to capture. But yeah, coming to Northwest, that's kind of when I guess that's when I fell in love with the athletics, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So with athletics, those things in motion, and maybe not everyone understands photography, that does add a
an aspect of difficulty trying to capture those things crisp and clear,
Yeah.
especially a lot of times, and maybe not at the college because they're playing during the day, but
Mhm.
at night, and you've got noise that gets introduced and
Yeah.
these movement, and you're trying
Mhm.
to make it all crisp and clean. I think that must have been really practice for you because, for instance, the bull ride photography that
Mm.
you just did, those things were amazing.
Yeah, that was I mean, I was those bull ride pictures, that was I was really proud of those, but yeah, like you said, like, going into the athletics, not only was it something new to fall in love with, but it was definitely something new to learn. Like, I was, again, learning about all of the settings, how to get the high shutter speed, but also have the low ISO so there's not all that grain and the noise. But you also had to learn, like, where to stand on the field. Like, you wanna
Mm-hmm.
stand so many yards in front of where the play is gonna go, and you kinda like, as the season went on, I kinda found myself, I'm kinda knowing some of the football plays because I wanna know, like, where to be, and I wanna know where the ball is gonna go, I wanna know where the celebrations are gonna be, and then you go to, like, a new season, and it's basketball, and I'm like, "Well, now I gotta learn where to be on these sidelines," and then it's baseball, and it's like each season you're learning something new, and that's honestly something that I love about it because it's so different every season.
Okay. You took one of like my favorite pictures of Xander. Um, he was carrying the flag. It was at the
Mm,
Bell game, I think, and there was like a group of kids that were just walking towards the sideline,
mhm.
and then you took just a snapshot, but they were like in a perfect V pattern.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah.
what picture I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Is Peyton Parr in the middle of it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, and a lot of times, like, knowing or seeing those moments or, like, you see them coming, they're in that formation, and it sometimes the picture will make itself, but then again, you have to find the spot to be. But, yeah, some of those ball game pictures were definitely some of my favorites.
Oh yeah. So
Mhm.
that's one of my favorites. Hold on, I apologize. I gotta
That's fine.
get a drink here and
I know, I was like,
make sure.
hopefully the recording didn't
No,
stop.
yeah, we're good. I don't know why it did that. But so that's like one of my favorite
Mhm.
pictures. My mouth is dry. So, um, what's something? So we know about the photography stuff,
Mhm.
okay, and we're gonna get deeper into that and ask some more questions. But what's something that people might be surprised to know about you?
Um I would say something that people would be surprised to know about me is that the creativity for me doesn't kind of stop at the photography. I love to scrapbook. I've been scrapbooking since I was in third grade. I have like a big scrapbook of every school year since third grade. I love to quilt and sew. Every summer, I get to go down to my grandma's and I make a quilt every summer for my 4-H projects. I didn't get to do it this year because like I graduated and I kind of aged out of 4-H, but that was something that I've done every summer since I was like 8, and so I have like a bunch of quilts that I've made. So, I guess I'm kind of an old soul, I would say. I
Mhm.
love like quilting, scrapbooking, all of that like small creative things that just kind of keep your heart humble and calm for me.
Okay, cool. Quilting.
Yeah, I it's so like calming. Like you're just sitting there at the machine, you got your grandma beside you, you've got some church hymns playing on the speaker, and it's just like one of my favorite places to be easily.
That actually sounds like really
Yeah.
peaceful and nice. Because we do embroidery here, and
Mhm.
but I always look at quilts and I'm thinking, how in the world do they do that? Because
Yeah.
these
And
patterns that they stitch
yeah,
in
and a
in
lot
the
of times for
blocks and
me, like my favorite part is when like you see this like top of the quilt come together and then you flip it over and it's like all the stitches on the back and all the folds and then you flip it over again and it's like this beautiful quilt face. And so for me, like I've always just kind of looked at it as like a metaphor for life. Like you've got that beautiful face and then you turn it around and you see all the work behind it. And I mean, I didn't think about that when I was 8, but like when I
Mhm.
once I started getting into high school, I kind of looked at it I guess differently. And so it was always just something that kept my heart happy.
That's
So,
cool. Really cool. Um, so uh, when did you first decide, okay, I like photography. I want to pick up a camera
mhm,
and I want to go take pictures
mhm.
of things. Do you remember that
Well,
moment?
I mean, yes and no. Every time it's funny because every time I get asked this question, I like look back and I'm like seeing more signs. And I guess I always kind of had a camera in my hand, but never for like a purpose. You know what I mean? Like my mom was like the best mom ever. She was taking pictures of everything. She still has her camera. And so for me, I always like wanted to be like her. And so I would always like get the camera from her. Like let's say we were at the balloon derby and she was crewing with the balloons so I would take the camera and I would take pictures of the cruise and stuff, but it was always, I guess, for a different purpose. Um, And then like looking back, I always gone to a Royals game with my dad for every single one of my birthdays. And then the past couple years, I found myself kind of like looking at the crew on the sides more than like the players. And I like look back and I'm like, I was watching those photographers and I was watching like the athletic trainers and I was watching the people behind the scenes. And so that's another sign that I see. And then I went to girls state the summer before my senior year, and I had to choose a school of instruction. And there was education, there was like law enforcement, and then I saw that there was a media and journalism school. I was like, that sounds pretty cool. And then being like involved like I was in high school, I was like, you know what, let's apply for like one of the leadership positions. Like,
Mhm.
you don't know much about media, but you've been in yearbook, so let's just go ahead and apply. And so I applied, and I was at girls state, and so this random person came out to me. I mean, I eventually learned who they were, but they're like, "Are you Nessa Montgomery?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Do you want to be the general manager of the School of Journalism and Media?" I was like, "Sure." Like, I mean, I don't know much about it, but I guess they were impressed by what I said on my application. And so then I was behind the scenes and I was in charge of this big like news production. And that's when I was like, media is like super cool. And I was like, and being the boss is also super
Mm.
cool. And so then I came back my senior year of high school and I started taking yearbook a lot more seriously. I was a head editor. And so I was in charge of like assigning the photography events, assigning the spreads. And I was like, what, being the boss is like really cool.
Yeah.
And I still fell in love with that. And then it was January um, of my senior year, so 2024, and I was like, I always had to take pictures at the sporting events, and then I was just randomly there. I think it was a baseball game, and I was like, or I guess it would have been basketball because it was January, but I was like, this is super cool. Like I'm like doing all this stuff, and I was like, and I'm like kind of good at it.
Mhm.
Like all the players like want my pictures, and they're posting them, and they're like really like thankful for them. Like that's super cool. Um, and so I picked a camera up and I asked one of my friends, like, do you want to take some senior pictures?
Mhm.
And so I took some pictures of my friend and we did like 2 days of full senior pictures, like 8-hour days of just like senior pictures. And that's when I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do this. Like, I want to take this like further and I want to make this a thing.
So that was kind of when you realized that maybe like your hobby or this like
Yeah.
love you had could maybe be a career or
Yeah.
a your own business.
Yeah, and I would say, like, I didn't realize that I could take it seriously until I started getting that feedback. And so my teachers, like, shout out to my teachers because they were who really like pushed me
Mhm.
to do that because they were, complimenting my work. They were telling me like, "You're like really good at this."
Yeah.
They were like,
Which teachers were it specifically?
yeah. So the yearbook teacher was Miss Yeager, and I mean, she was the best teacher outside of yearbook. She's like like made my high school experience like 10 times better.
Mhm.
Like she was amazing. And then I had Mr. Pauly. He shopped for cameras with me. Like he was very invested in my journey and he still is. I mean, he still likes my posts. He answers any questions that I have. So he really got that. But I mean, like every teacher, I would go to Miss Black's room, I would go to Miss Switzer's room. I went to my A plus teacher's room and I'm showing them these pictures because like look at these that I just took
Mhm.
because I was like kind of proud of him, and there was that first hint of like, maybe I'm good at this. And so all of them were like, well, those are like really good. You should keep doing this. And so then I did, and I was talking to my parents, and I was like, should I like buy a camera? Like, I can't just like, I can't keep using the school's camera. Like, what do I do after that? And so after that first round of senior pictures, I like I went and I bought a camera, and then people started texting me like, hey, like I really like Barrett's senior pictures. The Barrett's was who I took,
Mhm.
and they're like, would you do mine? And so then it's like the rest of my senior year and I'm like taking a couple of my friends' senior pictures and I'm like maybe this is gonna be something. And then
Yeah.
senior came or the summer came and I was booked with like senior pictures and I was like, whoa, like this is like a business and I didn't even realize it
Yep.
at the start. So
So when did you decide to name it?
I named it was state wrestling. I was
Okay.
literally sitting in my um cousin's house because my cousins live in Columbia, and I was taking some wrestling pictures because the wrestling parents are also a huge reason of why Indian media is born because they're like, you need to come to state wrestling. Like, you need to come. We're going to push to get you a Misha pass. We're going to talk to Coach Stevens. Like, we're going to get you a pass and you're going to be there because you take good
Mhm.
pictures of our kids. So, shout out to the wrestling parents. But, um, that really got me started. And they're like, you need to post these. Like, you need to post them. We're all going to share them. And so I made this page, and I'm sitting in my cousin's house. I'm like, what do I name this? Like, I don't want it to be, um, like Nessa Montgomery photography. I wanted something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I had been doing some like simple game day graphics for the basketball team. And so I was like, I'm like, it's not just photography, like it's all types of media.
Yeah.
And so then I thought of my initials and I was like, NDM media, that kind of has a ring to
It
it.
has a ring
Like
to
it
it.
kind of it goes together. And so that's how the name came about. I wanted something different and I wanted my initials in it. So I mean that's kind of how that came about. But
That's so cool.
yeah.
And then now, so of course, we talked about I DJ, and I start showing up at weddings, and I walk
Yeah.
in, and then here you
I
are.
know, yeah.
So how did you get into the wedding side of things?
I mean, Samantha Baldwin and Chelsea Switzer, I mean, they've kickstarted my photography business like insane. Like I would not be here. I probably would have quit by now if it wasn't for their support and their encouragement. I did my first wedding was Kaylee's actually,
Okay.
because
Yep.
Kaylee actually messaged me and she's like, "Hey, we want some people to take some pictures of the grooms and like, would you be interested?" And I was like, "You know what? Let's do it."
Hmm.
So I talked to Chelsea Switzer because she was the main photographer, and so we kind of worked together then. But I started getting into more weddings because when I first started as NDM, I texted Samantha Baldwin and I was like, "Hey, do you do any like mentorship calls?" And so I literally just messaged her and I was probably obnoxious with it, but I was just repeatedly messaging her because like I admired her work. Like I was just impressed by all of her stuff. And so we hopped on a Zoom call and she like helped me get a lot of like that beginner stuff done.
Hmm.
And then she posted something on her Instagram story like looking for second shooters. And so had I ever done wedding at that point? No, but I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and put my information in there. And so I did. And one day I was at college and I got a text from her and she was like, "Hey, do you want to be a second shooter for me?" And I mean, I like stopped in my tracks, like, wait, like Samantha Baldwin wants me to be like a second shooter with her. Like, it was the best day of my life. I called my
Shout out to
parents.
Samantha,
Yeah,
because she is I
she's
think she's been
amazing.
to like the last 4 weddings I've
Yeah,
done.
yeah. She's definitely busy, but that's how I got involved in that and we work really well together. And then after that she kind of just kept asking me. Um and so I think I've done like 4 with her now, but now I have like 3 weddings by myself. So without like Chelsea and Sam, like I wouldn't even have like my own weddings, but because of them I do now. And those weddings that I'm a second shooter for are like the best opportunities.
Mm.
Like I get to learn about it, I get to ask questions, and it's like real world like practice, so it's perfect.
Well, and I think in today's culture, because you can just take your phone and start
Mhm.
snapping
Mhm.
pictures, so many people just think they're a photographer.
Yeah.
But there is a big difference, because you have to be able to capture those moments like you're
Mhm.
explaining, and be able to frame a shot, and knowing
Yeah.
where to stand, what angles, and knowing to be ready at any moment, because you
Mhm.
don't know when those moments are going to occur. And while every type of event is probably stressful and difficult,
Mhm.
weddings got to be hard, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of stress sometimes, and
Mhm.
you're trying to make sure that the bride stays happy, and
Yeah.
you capture every
Yeah.
hug and smile and tear,
Yeah,
and
you don't wanna miss a thing. And I
that's
think,
tough.
yeah, weddings are definitely like I feel like wedding photographers and even like just wedding vendors as a whole, like there's so much more than the actual job that they were hired for. Like you look at photographers and we're with the bride all day, we're making sure she's on time, we're making
Hmm.
sure like all the decorations are up. Um, and so I think, I mean, you're keeping the events going, you're keeping everything like at a good pace. And so I think that just weddings in general, like you're tasked with so much more than you initially know.
Yeah.
And so it definitely kind of teaches you like more skills than photography. Like I would not be like, I mean,
Business skills.
yeah, business skills and even like personality skills. Like I would not be as outspoken or like outgoing, I guess, if it weren't for me having to like go and boss around 10 groomsmen. Like that's not something that I would have ever felt like I was like this little shy girl
Hmm.
and then I'm put in this room with like 12 guys that are just like messing around. They're in a like just having the best day and like, okay, we got to take pictures, like stand in line, right hand over left and like you with the guys, you gotta tell them everything. Like,
Yeah.
put your hand in your pocket, know your other pocket. Like, you kind of gotta keep it going. But yeah, weddings like definitely a
Well,
big event.
I've seen it change, because I've done it for
Mhm.
23 years.
Yeah.
Um, it used to be, like someone would call and they'd be like, "Hey, can you come do this wedding?"
Mhm.
It was like 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's not that anymore, because I've got Zoom calls leading up to it.
Mhm.
There's planning that
Yeah.
goes into it. I'm trying to communicate who the vendors are so I can
Yeah.
get timelines from
Mhm.
photographers. I'm showing up at these events. Like if a wedding's at 5, I'm there by 1.
Yeah.
So I'm usually at the place for over 12 hours. Um, and I know with photography, you amplify that because you've got planning, timelines,
Mhm.
all this going up to the day. The day is stressful. But then once the event's over, you now have to go edit all those photos.
Yeah, and, like, I mean, the editing like, the time that it takes to edit these galleries doesn't even compare to the time that you're gonna spend at the actual event. Like, you could be at the event for 8, 6, 12, however many hours they
Mhm.
hire you for, but then you've got, like, 3 weeks, if not more, of just work to edit. Like, you've gotta go through these images, pick the ones, like, because once you take a shot, you've got, like, 8, 10, 20 options of, like, 1 shot,
Yeah.
and so then you have to go in and you have to cull the images and, like, pick the best ones.
Well, and it's really cool now because with photographers, each photographer has their own style.
Yeah.
So when you shoot, of course, you're shooting to kind of optimize that, but then you're
Mhm.
going back through the photos and trying to deliver the bride,
Yeah.
what she saw from your
Mhm.
Instagram posts and everything
Yeah.
else, a consistent look.
Mhm.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I mean, not only do you have to kinda, like, fit your style and then get what the bride wants, but you also have to think, like, their grandparents are gonna look at these galleries, and so you gotta get,
Hmm.
like, those perfectly posed images, the ones that people are gonna want on their fridge. But then you might have this young couple that kinda wants, those really trendy, like, the motion blur pictures or, like, the more, like, aesthetic detail photos. And so you've kinda gotta like cater your style to like 5 different groups of people because you gotta
Oh,
and I mean,
yeah.
you also gotta think, like, you've gotta sometimes fit pictures into, like, your social media because you've
Hmm.
gotta promote your stuff, but you've gotta make the grandparents happy, the parents happy, the bride and the groom.
Man.
So there's definitely a lot to think about.
So if we're talking about senior photos and sports photography and wedding photography,
Mhm.
what's your favorite type of thing to go shoot? Like what do you have fun with the most?
I mean, that's such a hard question because, like, they're all so different.
Hmm.
And I mean, like, you're on the sidelines of the sports, and that's, like, amped with action. And that's always gonna be fun when you're on the sidelines,
Hmm.
even as a fan. Like, sports are just fun to be around. Then you go to the seniors, and you get to, like, pick outfits, you get to go to cute locations, you get to go explore the city. So that's also fun. Then you go to weddings, and you, like, are fulfilled with emotion because it's just I mean, weddings are just beautiful days.
Hmm.
Then you go to, like, the rodeos, and I mean, that's a whole new type of fun, like,
Hmm.
you've got 8 seconds to capture, but then you've got, like, all the cowboys behind the chutes and all of that, but I don't know, I mean, I would probably go with, like, the events, I think, like, the athletics and like the rodeos and kind of put all that together just because it's so like full of action and a lot of times I tell my stories with my images through color and a lot of
Hmm.
times those are like the action color filled images. So I would probably say the
Yeah,
event
yeah.
photography, but like I still love my portraits and my seniors and like my families like family sessions are always like they always make my heart
Hmm.
so full because they're just always so sweet. But
That's
I don't
cool.
know, probably like 50-50. But if I had to pick one, probably the events.
Okay.
I think.
I
Maybe.
would probably
Ask
lean
me
that. I
again at
would
the end and I might change my mind,
I
but
would lean that way too.
yeah.
Um, so I lost my spot. Doggone it. So are there any, and you touched on it, but
Mhm.
are there any like photographers or designers that you really look up to or looked up to or inspired your work?
Ooh, I mean, we talked about Sam and Chelsea, and those are definitely like my portrait like inspirations just because not only do I admire like their photography style and their skills there, but also like the type of people they are. Like I the supportiveness and just the encouragement that they continuously give me, like I aspire to be just like a person like them. Like just half the person they are because they've kickstarted my journey so much. Um, but I think in the sports world, there's Shelby Schneider and Amy Contras. They're the Royals
Hmm.
photographers, and there's like the Royal social team and the media team is just amazing in general. They're like a really strong friend group, and so their photography stuff and though their style is definitely people that I look up to.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Cool. So, what has been your most rewarding, or what's the project you've been the most proud of so far of all the ones you've done?
Ooh, that's also a hard question. I mean, I was super like pleased with the way that my rodeo stuff turned out from
Hmm.
this past Lynn County extreme bull ride, they were just probably some of my best pictures that I've taken. And so I was really proud of that. But I got to be like the lead photographer for the Catspies at Northwest, which that's not like a common term, but it's kind of like a big Met Gala where like all 500 of the student athletes and all the coaches and all the teams come together and they recognize like all of the teams and all the accomplishments throughout the year. And I got to be like the photographer.
Oh, so that
Like
was
my
cool.
internship supervisor, Tucker Quinn, he is also a person that really kickstarted my journey. He came to me, he's like, we want you to be like the photographer. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got to like do portraits. I got to like interact with all the teams and the players and the coaches. And so that was definitely like full circle because I got to see not only like all of their accomplishments be recognized, but I also got to look back and be like, I was there for that game that they just got recognized for. I captured this game, I captured that. And so it was kind of like an end of the year celebration for me a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. So I was really proud of that one.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is it so you're at college? Do you get people hitting you up there like, hey, come take our picture, come,
Yeah. I get a lot of seniors like up at college because I'm in a sorority too, and so a lot of those girls like want me to do their senior pictures or one of the girls in my sorority I just got to do her younger sister's like high school senior pictures. So that was fun. But I definitely get some business through Maryville and even some of the like families in there, like sometimes my like social media will feed into the Maryville
Mhm.
like algorithm too. And so I definitely get some business there, but a lot of my stuff is still here in Brookfield, which is
Is it
hard.
what that was
Yeah.
leading into? Is it
Yeah.
hard to balance school with the extra stuff
Um,
that you're doing?
it isn't, it isn't. I mean, it's definitely hard for me like come fall because that's like kind of like a prime time for the senior pictures. And so a lot of them like, hey, I want fall pictures. Then I'm up in Maryville and I'm like, hey, I'm like planning a homecoming parade, because I'm on that board. I'm in like I've got sorority recruitment going on. I've got like in the heat of football season, and so it's definitely hard to like find time to come back. But a lot of times, like what, I'll just come home for a random Tuesday and take like 3 sessions at night just to kind of fit them in because like I can't tell them no, it's their senior
Mhm.
pictures and I want to come home too. So I guess it sometimes gives me a good excuse to. But also like the way that my like clients and their families are, I'm like super blessed because I've never like felt rushed and I've always been told like college comes first. Like don't put this above your homework, don't put this above your finals. And so like those families and kind of that like relief of the pressure like hey, I know that like my college has to come first and my clients know that college comes first too also makes it like 10 times easier.
Have have you had to say no to anybody?
um I don't know if I've said no, but I've definitely had to like postpone it or not postpone it, but like hey, I can't get you this month, but maybe next month, just
Mhm.
because like sometimes I get super booked or like when October comes, like it's going to be hard because that's when homecoming is. And I mean, I'm on the homecoming executive board, and so it's like I've planned a parade before here for student council, but this is like Northwest homecoming is like a huge deal, and so now I've got the parade for that, and so I'm definitely going to kind of have to push back a little bit, and probably not take as many sessions, but I've definitely had to like push them back or like maybe next month. But I usually try to find any excuse to not say no because
Well,
I mean, it's hard. So,
um, so have you? Because it's early in stages in the business.
hmm
Have you had any moments yet where you're really challenged and you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to do this, or
yeah, I mean, I think with a lot of businesses, comparison is just always like a hard thing to deal with, and especially like with photographers because social media is not only how we get a lot of the business, but it's also like the easiest place to like compare myself to other photographers. And like you said, we all have our own style, and so a lot of times like I'll find a new photographer's feed and I'm like, maybe like this is like so much better than mine, or this style is so much cooler. And so there's been a lot of times that I'm like why are you doing this? It's like there's so many photographers in the area, there's so many like better people around here, but then sometimes I just have to sit back and be like, Nessa, like you've been doing this for a year, like you're 19, some people have been doing this for 5, 10, 15 years, and they're like 10, 15 years older than you, like.
oh yeah,
And so sometimes I just have to give myself some grace, but I would say like anytime I get into that like negative comparison mindset, it's easy to just be like, well, I guess I'll just be done. But
comparison is the thief of joy, and
Yeah, I got to remind myself that a lot.
you can get so caught up in watching competition
Mhm.
or you know seeing what they're doing and thinking, oh, mine doesn't look like that,
Yeah.
or they have equipment that I don't have,
Yeah.
or so on and so forth. And it's just everything's a long game, and you're just trying to be
Yeah.
consistent, and the fruits of your labor will come.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to hear, though, from a young person's perspective.
Yeah.
You've experienced some of that too.
Yeah. Happens to all of us, I guess. I wish it didn't, but it does.
um, you know, you brought it up earlier, and something else that you deal with,
Mhm.
and is you're a diabetic.
Mhm.
When did you find out that, and then how has that changed your life?
That's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was diagnosed April 11th of 2022, and looking back, there's a lot more signs than we realized then. I was losing so much hair. Like my hair was falling out in like crazy chunks. And I think I realized that it was a really bad problem after Snowball. I was like taking my hair out and trying to like brush it out and stuff. And there was just this pile of hair on the table. And like for me, I was thinking about every other thing besides diabetes. Like I was like, maybe I have like alopecia, or maybe I have like any of the other
Mm-hmm.
diseases that Google was giving me. But
Oh.
never once was it like, yeah, you could, maybe you're diabetic. Like it never once crossed my mind. I was drinking so much water. I was losing weight in an unhealthy amount. Like I was always tired. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, I was like, I'm really involved. I'm a teenage girl. Like maybe I'm just exhausted. Like I'm just tired of like being really involved, and this is everybody goes through this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody drinks a bunch of water. Everybody does all of this. But my mom, she had a gut feeling. She's like, let's get a blood test ran. She has some thyroid issues, and so she's like, maybe it's just that. Maybe you just have like a little bit of thyroid issues. And so I pushed back for a long time. I was like, no, I don't need it. Like, I mean, I knew that I needed it, but I didn't want to accept that something was going to be wrong with
Yeah.
me. And so we went and we got my blood test ran. And, you have to wait like the however many days to get your results back. And then I was sitting in Miss Switzer's classroom, and they were like, Nessa, you need to go to the office. I was like, okay. Like, I go to the office all the time. I'm always chatting with the office ladies. And so I go there, and my mom's standing there. I'm like, whoa, that's not good. Why is my mom here? She's like, we need to go. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, do I need to get my stuff? She's like, we just like need to go now.
Mm.
And so we walked as soon as we got out of the school door. She's like, you have type 1 diabetes. I was like, what? Like, what do you, I didn't even like know what to
Sure.
do. Like, I didn't even know half of what type 1 diabetes was. And so we went to like the clinic again just to kind of get like another quick test ran. And they're like, yeah, you need to get to Columbia now. And so we went to one hospital, and something didn't work or something. So then we had to go to like the Mizzou Children's Hospital. And that's when they're like, yeah, this is like your A1C is above 14. The charts stop at like 12, 13. Like you're literally off the charts. And I
Mm.
was like, oh,
Oh
that's not good.
man.
Like I'm still not processing quite what's happening. And then they're like, yeah, we need to like give you an insulin shot. I'm like, what do you mean? Like I didn't even know what
Wow.
half the stuff meant. And I was like, in that moment, I was just mad. I was like more mad than I was sad, because I was just mad at everything. I was mad at the doctors. I was mad at my parents. I was mad at the world. I was mad at God. Like it was, and that was so hard for me to deal with. Like I don't want to be mad at everybody. I don't want to be in a bad mood. Like why am I like feeling like this? And so that's when we went to the hospital, and I was there for 3 days or 4 days, 3 nights.
Mm.
But um that's when we found out. And I mean, that hospital stay was full of like education. I was meeting with nurses. I was learning how to like count foods, how to read the nutrition facts, what I could do, a lot of what I couldn't do now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I was just so mad. Like I was like they brought in like a therapy dog, and I like told it to go away. Like I was
Aw,
like just so mad at
man.
everybody.
So how'd you start to deal with that anger?
For a long time I didn't deal with it, and I just was just mad. And I mean, once it kind of settled, and then all of the rest of the emotions did. I was really confused, because one of the things about type 1 diabetes is like you don't cause it. And that's what, like, for me, I was involved in everything, and I was always a problem solver. And so for me, I was like, one, I don't have the cause of the problem, and two, there's no solution. And that it took me like a year to finally realize like there is no cure. Like, and I mean, sometimes I still like forget about it. I'm like, oh, like it's just a sickness, like I just have the flu. But I'm like, no, this is like a chronic illness and you have
Right.
it forever. But that took a long time for me and I was just mad for a long time. And I think, I mean, like I was talking to therapists, I was talking to people at school just to kind of like deal with that, to talk out like everything. But I was just so mad at everything. And a lot of it wasn't even because like I had diabetes, but a lot of it was because I didn't want to be the sick girl. Like school was my life and like I was involved in every organization. I had a leadership position in every organization. I found my validation in how I performed with academics. Like school was my life and I had worked really hard to kind of like have that reputation. Like I wanted to be the
Mm-hmm.
perfect student. And then all of a sudden I was just terrified. I was like, I worked so hard to like be smart, to be like involved. And now I was like, I don't want people to look at me as this like sick girl. Like I just do not want to be the sick girl. I don't want the pity. Like I don't want people to know that something's wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like really obvious. Like I have medical devices on. I have to leave the classroom 3 times a day. Like there was that. Like I was in the hospital and it was the week of FFA officer interviews. And I was like, I have to get home. Like I have to get home. I have to do these interviews. And I did the interview as a Zoom in my hospital bed. I was in my hospital gown. I had my hair like, and I that's like how dedicated I was to these organizations. Like I did not want to lose any of that. Like I was immediately emailing all my professors to send me homework. Like that was my biggest priority in the hospital. It wasn't to like take care of myself. Like I wanted to upkeep that image. Um and so for like a long time for the first like year of my diagnosis, I was still just in that and like working to just upkeep that. Like I didn't want to accept that I had it. I didn't want to um take care of it. Like I wanted to a lot of times just neglect it. But then like kind of that year hit and then I was like I hit my first diaversary. That's my anniversary of being diagnosed. Um and then I kind of found reasons to celebrate it. And so then I was like, you know what? Like this diagnosis doesn't necessarily have to be a setback. Like I can find ways to celebrate it. And so from then, that's when I kind of started to find like a purpose within the diagnosis. Like that's when I was like, you know what? Let's like talk about it all the time. Let's tell people about it. Let's have Nathan make me a shirt that says T1D on
Mm-hmm.
it so I can like celebrate this day at school. And so from there, I started to like find purpose with my diagnosis. But for a long time, I didn't deal with the anger. And a lot of times I just sat with it and let it take me up and consume me for a lot of
Yeah.
it.
So, living with this, how like it's changed your thought process every day, I'm sure. But like, especially when you're at these events that you do, and
Yeah.
like we were just at a wedding, and it was like
Hmm.
100 degrees, and like, does that really drain you? And now you're constantly having to deal with that, or
um,
how does it change your thought process around that stuff?
It's I mean, it's definitely changed my thought process drastically. Like I have another whole thing to think about. Like not only am I like working my job of like a photographer, but I'm also working my job of being a diabetic because ultimately being a diabetic is like a full-time job. Like you're keeping your body alive 24 hours a day. Like you can't never not think about it. Like you just always have to think about it. And so that for me is like it's a lot to balance for sure. And a lot of times like you have these weddings and maybe it's in the heat or like you're super stressed. And a lot of times I don't think people realize that like the heat and the stress can also affect your sugar. Like and so a
Okay.
lot of times um I have to watch it a lot because I'll get super hot or I'll get super stressed and it'll cause my sugar to rise. It'll cause my sugar to drop. And so it is like a lot to balance. But like I was at a senior session last night and I was like, wow, it's like really hot outside. I'm getting super shaky and I was like, actually, no, like my sugar's actually getting really
Uh,
low, and my Dexcom started to go off. And luckily, a lot of my clients know that I am a type 1 diabetic, and a lot of them, like, they're prepared to help me with whatever I need. And so I was like, well, I need to like take a break real quick. I need to like pop a trail mix in my car. I need to, and then I'll be back. And so, I came back, but then we were going to the second location. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I need you to meet me at this location with some candy, like whatever. And so, a lot of times, like, you're just kind of forced to balance it. But I
mm,
think it's kind of caused me to be like more aware of myself and the way that like my body's reacting to things at all times. So I think it's definitely just made my entire thought process like I guess more in depth because I have to think about a lot more things.
yeah. So, diabetes is something that people hear about,
Hmm.
but what would you say are some like common misconceptions people have?
There's a lot. I mean, like I just said, a lot of I don't think people realize the amount of things that affect like your blood sugar range. Like it could be raining outside and my sugar will be affected by it, or it'll be like I don't know, I'll be super stressed and it'll affect it. It'll I don't know. There's a lot of things that affect it. And so I don't think that people realize that, or I guess they don't know to kind of give grace for that. Like it'll be
Hmm.
finals week and my sugar will be high every single day because I'm stressed. Or it'll be like I'll have to take a test at college. And luckily, I have a lot of accommodations at school, and my professors are really good about it. But I'll have to go and like take my test in a private room because I'm so stressed about like my insulin pump or my Dexcom like vibrating and messing with the students. And so I think that people don't realize how much goes into what your sugar level's at. Um, there's a lot of misconceptions. A lot of people will get like type 1 and type 2 mixed up.
Hmm.
Um, and so they'll think that like we ate a bunch of sugar to cause having diabetes. And ultimately, I have no idea what caused my diabetes. And it's like they made sure to tell me like this isn't your fault. And so that's definitely a big misconception. Um, I mean, there's a lot. That could be a whole nother episode with the
Yeah.
amount of misconceptions there are about type 1 diabetes, but I'm sure I'll think of some more as the episode goes on.
Okay. What kind of support or routines help you stay, like grounded on those hard days?
I mean, the support that I've got from everybody in my life, my family is like I mean, I could get emotional talking about how just supportive my family is. Like
Hmm.
um, I mean, they have like my sugar levels at all days. So yesterday I was in the middle of my senior session and my sister texted me, she's like, you need to eat something. And so knowing that sometimes because I deal with like some days I just don't want to deal with it. And so knowing that sometimes they'll pick me up and they'll deal with it for me. Like they'll have the snacks ready. They'll plug in my carbs and give me insulin. Like knowing that some for the days that I don't want to deal with it, they'll deal with it
Hmm.
is like the biggest blessing ever just because sometimes it like gives me a break or
Sure.
it's like they'll know like if I've had a high blood sugar for a couple days, I'm going to be agitated, I'm going to be in a bad mood, I'm going to be tired, but like they don't want to like come out and say it like hey, I know this is why you're like being kind of grouchy, but a lot of times they'll come out and they'll know to just kind of like give me some time and they'll know to like let me have my days. And so just like the amount of grace that they've given me or like even like the people that I work for, like I was a bank teller for a really long time, and just like the support that I received in any place of work, like everybody always has snacks for me in case I need it. Everybody always like lets me take breaks. And so I guess just knowing that people will help me deal with it or they'll deal with it for me is it's easy for me to feel a lot better about it
Hmm.
because I know that I have people that kind of have my back with it.
And you mentioned it earlier, but you spoke about your belief in Christ and
Mhm.
how that's a big part of your life.
Mhm.
How how has that helped with dealing with this? Because I know you said initially
Yeah.
you were mad. You were
Yeah,
mad.
I mean, I was so mad. I was like, God, like, why me? Like, what did I do? Like, was I bad? Did I, like, sin too much? Like, what did I do to kind of deserve to have this disease that doesn't go away? And so for a long time, I sat in that mindset, but then, like I said, that year mark came, and I was like, you know what? Like, I didn't get this for no reason. Like, what is the point of sitting here just like mad at the world, mad at God, mad at myself? Like why not like make it a purpose?
Hmm.
Um and so honestly, like having this illness, this disease, this condition, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of turned into like a ministry for me because um I don't know, it gives me a story to tell, but it kind of shows like God is going to give me joy regardless. And God's going to give me joy within this disease too. Like this disease does not have to be, I don't have to be mad. I don't have to be sad. I don't have to be aggravated all the time. And so once I kind of got over that hump, it was like, you know what? Like, this is like really cool that you can deal with this. And this is like really awesome that you can keep yourself alive
Hmm.
every single day. Um, and so it took a lot for me, but knowing and kind of finding that purpose. And I was like, you know what? like, I don't know what I did to have this disease, but I know why I have it now. And I know that God wants me to use this to serve. I know that He wants me to use this to advocate. And I think the advocating part is really something that God's put on my heart because I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this podcast, so I didn't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even yesterday, it's funny that you like bring up like my faith and stuff because yesterday, I mean, I was sitting at the nail salon getting my nails done, and this like the sweetest lady was sitting next to me. I have no idea who she was, but she looked at me. She's like, "What's that patch on your arm?" And so I got to tell her all about it. And then we were both getting our nails done. She's like, "What are you doing after this? Like, do you want to go grab a coffee?" And so I went and I grabbed a drink with her, and we just started talking about our faith. And I was like, like God like put this lady in my heart, and that conversation wouldn't have started if I didn't have a patch on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, having diabetes has like brought me so many friendships. Um, like I can't explain the joy that I have when I like see somebody with a Dexcom in public. I'm like, mom, do you see that? Like they have a Dexcom in public. And so a lot of times I'll go up to them. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you a type 1 diabetic? And I mean, I met one of my best friends at Girls State because of that. She had a Dexcom. I was like, oh my gosh, are you a type 1 diabetic? She was like, no, I'm the opposite. And her sugar is always low all the time. And so even just having that like thing to bond about, like I wouldn't have met that girl if we wouldn't have both worn like Dexcoms. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I think God's definitely working through me with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still like progress is not linear. Like I mean just this past weekend I was just again I was mad. I was like I don't want to have these devices on my arms. I don't want to do all of this. Um but God definitely planted the disease in me for a reason. And I mean I'm glad that I can see that now, but it's definitely helped me a lot knowing that I have like God behind me and I have my family behind me.
Well, and the way you worded that's it's perfect because I think it's very easy to get in the mindset of why me, and it could
Mhm.
be with anything in life, um, illness specifically. Um, and if you have that mindset of why me, you are not going to be taking the right steps and
Yeah.
making the progress. But once you change your mindset and you really focus on how you can use it to show your story
Mhm.
of adversity and how
Yeah.
you overcome battles and you overcome struggles, and you can still, you know, you know, be at all the fun
Yeah.
events, and you can have your own business,
Yeah.
and you can still go to the college, and
Mhm.
um, that right there, that story is something that someone else might see that feels like, where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah.
So it's really
And
important that you
yeah.
change that.
And I mean, once I kind of got out of that mindset, like, why do I have this disease? Why do I do this? And kind of shifted into what can I use this or how can I use disease to serve others? That's when it kind of clicked with me. And that's when I was like, you know what? Like, this doesn't always have to be a weakness. Like, this can be like a huge strength for you to use. And so that's when I kind of started posting about it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I started making TikToks about it. Um, because after I started posting that, I had people reach out to me on like all social media platforms, like, "Hey, I saw that you posted, like, that you have diabetes, and like I have
Mm-hmm.
these symptoms. Like, do you think I need to like go get tested?" Or people would text me like, "Hey, like I saw that you have diabetes. I just got diagnosed. Like, how do I deal with it?" And I mean, this is complete strangers, but they're messaging me, and I mean, trusting me with that terrifying feeling of just getting diagnosed or the terrifying feeling of is something wrong with me. And so that's when I kind of see like, I have this experience that God gave me and now I can use that to help them calm down because that's what I needed in that moment. I needed somebody that had diabetes to
Mm-hmm.
look at me and be like, "You're going to be fine. Like you're going to use this as a strength one day and you're going to help other people with it." And so knowing that I can like spread God's love through that diagnosis to them through my experiences, I mean, it makes having the condition sometimes not fun, but like it gives me a positive side to it because I get
Sure.
to serve others with it.
Yeah, that's that's a great way to look at it. Um, so circling back and starting to talk about some of the things that we've already mentioned, but what do you wish like you would have told your younger self about, um, business or mindset, or is there, what would you tell the younger version of you?
I mean, I would first tell her that she's going to be okay. Because, I mean, there was a lot of times that I didn't know if I was going to be okay. I didn't know if I was going to see myself as anything besides like a sick girl that was just sick. So, I mean, I would first tell her, like, you're going to be fine. You're going to find purpose within this. You're going to, like, you're going to have a mission. Like, God did this for a reason. And then I would remind her, like I said earlier, like progress is not linear.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna have these good days, but you're gonna have those bad days, and you're gonna have those days where you're right back in that hospital bed, or you're right back in that peak of like your depression back in high school where you're just dealing with so many things. You're dealing with the friendship issues, you're doing all this stuff. Like you're gonna go back to that spot, but if you find the right people, then you can be lifted out of that super quickly.
Mm.
Um, and so I would tell her that she's going to be fine, that progress is not linear. And then I would say to just find the people that make your heart shine like Jesus wants it to, because once I did that, and once I like went to college and I found those friends that helped my soul shine the way it does now, like my life has just been completely changed, because if you find those people that bring out the light in your soul, like your life will change and you'll find a whole new purpose. So I mean, I would tell her all of those stuff, but she'll be
Okay.
fine.
That's that's great advice. How do you deal with, because you're doing a lot and you got a lot going on, and your day-to-day struggles. There's got to be moments where you're just kind of burnt out.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with burnout and like creative blocks? Because you can't feel drained and burn out and still put out beautiful work.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get into that burnout spot. And I mean, there's burnout, there's diabetes burnout, there's like that creative block that you said. And so sometimes I just have to take a day to feel all of it. And so I'll have those days where I just need to take a break from editing, or I just need to go on a walk and not think about what my sugar level's
Mhm.
at. And so I would say, like, once you get in those feelings, sometimes you just need to let yourself feel it to get it out of your system. Um, but to get out of that, I mean, especially with my creative stuff, sometimes it's like your clients need you.
Mhm.
Like you can't just stop. You can't just not put your heart into this gallery. Like your clients, like these are memories that you're gonna give them. Like this gallery is bigger than you. This gallery is bigger than like the burnout that you're feeling, or whatever's going on past your computer. Like this gallery has stuff that's gonna go on their walls. It's gonna, like, they're gonna remember this stuff for forever. It's gonna be their senior pictures. It's gonna be their senior night at a football game. Like this
Mhm.
is, it's just so much bigger than you. And I honestly have to remind myself that a lot. Like this isn't for you. This isn't to look good on your Instagram feed. Like this is, it's just so much bigger than you. And so I think to get out of that creative block, I just have to remind myself like this is, it's bigger than you. Like you're doing this for your clients. As far as the diabetes goes, I mean, I definitely have phases where I'm just like done with it, and I'm just like I'm just not gonna deal with it today. I'm not gonna act like I don't have it. I'm not gonna eat whatever I want. I'm gonna do whatever. And a lot of times, again, I just have to let myself do that for a day, because it's like sometimes you just need like a taste of what that normal life could have been like. Um, but I mean, a lot of times I'll just pray about it. I'll just go to like end the day, and then I'll just get up and kind of with my family's help just start the new day. So
Okay. So you're going through all of this. And this is a weird question, but what are you learning about yourself?
um
Like, are there things that you do that you're like, I surprise myself? I'm.
yeah, I mean, I this past year of my life, I have like changed the most that I've ever changed. And that's saying a lot considering I got diagnosed with a chronic illness. So, I mean, I am just seeing myself allow myself to be proud of myself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, like I would do all this stuff in high school, and I would be involved, and I would do all this stuff, and I would accomplish great things looking back. But a lot of times I just wasn't allowing myself to like step back and realize that um like I'm doing great things. And so I think having that shift of like actually allowing myself, and a lot of times it helps because I have the people that are like constantly like helping me believe that. But once I started to believe that I was like actually creating good things, I was doing good things in the world, I was serving Jesus in the way that I needed to be, that kind of allowed me to take the next step. And I was like, you know what, if you're doing like this great thing, go do a greater thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely have found more confidence within myself in all aspects, like in my work and just the way that I interact with people. Because, like I said earlier, photography has definitely helped me grow to be more outgoing, because I'm interacting with strangers at my
Yeah.
sessions. I'm telling them how to pose, I'm telling them what to do. And so I think I've just grown into like a outspoken, definitely a more confident person, which is something that I definitely needed. So, I mean, I have diabetes and Indian media and college and family and God to thank for that. So,
You're learning a lot about yourself.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to say the least.
Where do you see your business going in the next 5 years?
Ooh, 5 years, I'll be graduated from college, which is sad. I mean, I love college,
Mm-hmm.
but hopefully, I
And what's your
mean,
major?
mass media.
Okay.
So I'm mass media. I still need to decide an emphasis. It'll either be like multimedia journalism or sports media,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm leaning towards sports media just because I love that athletic side. But ultimately, my biggest goal with my career is to go pro, you know. I never thought I would like want to go pro with a sports team as a little kid, but I want to work for the Royals. That's my biggest goal. And so hopefully in 5 years, you know, I'm kind of kickstarting my career and maybe starting to talk to the Royals and working for them. Um, but that's my end goal. I don't know if it'll be 5 years, maybe in the next 10 years, but can never know.
Okay.
But I definitely want to have a studio by then,
Mm-hmm.
with my career, and I mean maybe I'll have some more weddings by then. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely some big goals. But
What's like a dream like project or collaboration? Like, is there
ooh,
someone you like to work with? Like,
hmm. I mean, again, like working with the Royals would be like a big thing, but even doing like their media day or working just like directly with a player,
mm-hmm.
that would be a huge goal. Or even I've looked at a lot of the like country music artists will have super cool like photo shoots to like announce their albums. That would be super. I mean, that would be insane. Like if you're working with like Megan Maroney, anybody like that, you know, that would be a super cool goal. Um, I think that would be a good bucket list item, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your so like what's your go-to like creative fuel? Like, is there like, do you pray? Is there like a drink you drink? Is there like a
Mm.
show you watch? Music you listen to?
Um, I love listening to worship music. Even I do that every morning. But definitely once I'm like trying to get into that editing move, I definitely like stick my headphones on, put that music on. I mean, I drink Alani's all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but my perfect editing like spot is the Starbucks in Maryville. I'll like put my headphones on, I'll get a drink, and I'll sit there for like 6 hours, and I'll just pump out galleries. I'll pump out like I do that a lot after like football games. I'll go there the next day and just kind of get those pictures done. But definitely a quiet spot or like an office setting really helps me just
Mm-hmm.
because it helps me feel more productive. But
Sure,
yeah.
that makes sense. Um, so like, if you got all this stuff going on in your life, and if you had to have a slogan
Ooh,
for you,
ooh.
or like a mantra, like maybe what was if there was a tagline to
Mhm.
Indian media, what would it be?
Ooh, a tagline to Indian media.
I mean, yeah,
I would say love behind the lens.
love behind the lens. I
Yeah, I
like
mean, I
that.
didn't come up with that, but somebody told me that one time, and I sent them their picture and sent them their pictures, and they're like, "There's lots of love behind the lens," and I mean, that has like it's struck my soul right there. I was like, that's my goal, and to know that like somebody could see that was the best thing. And I mean, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to put Jesus's love in my pictures. I'm here
Mm-hmm.
to do that behind my camera. Um, and so, I mean, that would be my goal. I'm here to capture you and your story, to capture the stories that often go untold, but the end goal is just to have the love both in the lens, behind the lens, and me in the pictures. Like I just want them to just feel like warm pictures, whether that's at a rodeo, whether it's a family session, whether it's a football game. But I want just the love to be there
Yeah.
and the joy to be there. Um, I just, I mean, that's my goal. I want them to feel the pictures the way that I feel the pictures. So
Okay. So right now, there's a girl or boy somewhere looking at a camera, playing with the camera, picking it up. What advice would you give them?
keep picking it up. I mean, the best way to get started is to keep practicing. Join the yearbook. Take pictures at a local sports competition. Go to a little leagues tournament. Take pictures there. I mean, the best way to get started, at least for me, was just to keep doing it. Grab your friend. Take senior pictures of them. That's how I got started. Just keep picking it up. That's what I tell them. You know, buy it, do it, go for it. I mean, God didn't plan that dream, that camera in your hands for no reason. Like just
Mm-hmm.
keep picking it up, keep working, and that goes for any dream. If you feel just a little bit, a little tug at your heart, just do it. Like you're just I mean, it's not there for no reason.
Right.
So you just got to do it.
Okay. I love it. Um, this is just something we do on every episode. Okay. So this is your opportunity just to, what's something you really put 100% of yourself behind? Say it with your chest.
Mm. I've been thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got two.
Okay.
My first one is it's kind of like random, but for some people, I don't know if this will make sense, but high school won't always be the best 4 years of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mean, for me, that was probably the case because sometimes you'll go to college or you'll go to that job and you'll find yourself like I did. And so for anybody watching this, whether you just graduated or you're still in high school, don't feel like you're pressured to make that the best 4 years of your life just because, like for me, once I was there, I was like, well, if this is the best 4 years of my life, then I don't know how low the lows can get because I was so pressured into thinking that that was going to be the best time of
Mm-hmm.
my life. But then I went to college and I like found myself and I found this new joy. So don't be afraid if you haven't found that like perfect joy yet because it will come. So just be patient to find that. And then my second thing, I mean, it goes for if you're living with an illness, if you've got a dream, you have to, you are your biggest advocate
Hmm.
and you have to be your biggest advocate. And that's definitely something that I learned at college because, I went to college and nobody knew that I had diabetes. My professors didn't know, none of my new friends knew. And so it was my job to redefine myself in that way. I got to explain it the way that I wanted it to be perceived, and I got to tell my professors, like, hey, these are my needs, and these are how this affects me when I take a test, when I can't focus in class. Like, I had to advocate for myself, and I often had to do that, like with India media too, or with a dream that I had, or with a feeling that I was dealing with. Like, if you don't go and speak about it, if you don't go and do something about it, it's not going to get done because like you have to be your biggest advocate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I mean, I want to say that with my chest at the top of any rooftop. Like
Yeah.
you got to advocate for you and you've got to advocate for the things, the people, everything that you're passionate about. Like you've just got to be your biggest advocate.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell everyone you've got to believe in yourself
Mhm.
long before anyone else is going
Yeah.
to. So
Yeah.
that I enjoy that. And then what you said about high school can be the best 4 years for
Mhm.
some
Yeah,
people.
and you'll have those
And
really good days. Like you'll be at the football games and be like, "This is the best day of my life." And
Mhm.
a lot of times it could feel like that, and it will be the best days of your high school life. Um, but I don't know. I just don't want people to feel like pressured into doing that, or even feeling like trapped. Because
Right.
if they don't have the best experience, and they're like, "This is supposed to be the best years," then they're gonna get trapped into that
Well,
mindset
exactly.
of like, if my high isn't that high, then my lows are gonna be super low.
Yeah, you can't get so caught up in that mindset because
Mhm.
you may have the greatest 4 years ever, but it may not be until 10 years after
Yeah.
that high school. And um, that's a great message that you
Yeah.
delivered there. Um, Man, you do so much. I really appreciate you finding time to come on the
Yeah.
show.
I mean, this is truly an honor to come and advocate for all the things. So,
Yeah, and I think everything you said is like so important. So I hope this message finds the right people. You covered everything from your faith to family
mhm.
to friends and your business
Mhm.
and college and high school. I mean, is there anything that you didn't get a chance to go over that maybe you think people should know?
Um I mean, I didn't get to talk any about my siblings and
Well, let's hear it.
they're my
Let's
everything.
hear it.
So, I mean, even if you're not an older sibling or a big sister or anything, I think that it's important to find those people you can still mentor. And a lot of it, I love Joel Dixon's episode
Uh
about
huh.
mentoring. And so I think it kind of ties in there a little bit. But um, I think finding a group of people or your siblings or something and that's just find your people and that's gonna where you can spread Jesus' love. That's where you can, those are the people that you can lean on. Um, I mean, I've been a lot of I've had a lot of titles. I've been a lot of officers, but I mean, easily Big Sister is my biggest and my favorite title that I've ever had. I mean, I could almost get emotional just thinking about the way that they've impacted my life. But if you're listening, find those people that you can mentor. That a lot of times they'll end up mentoring you and they'll impact
Hmm.
your life more than you realize it. But just find those people, whether it's your sibling, whether it's those people that you found at your job, whether they're people across the street, but find those people that you can lean on that bring Jesus out in you. So,
And we didn't get a chance to cover it, but you got some really cool parents. I mean, you
My
talked a little bit about your
yeah,
mom and dad, but
they're I mean, I'm about to cry thinking of them, but, um, yeah, they're I mean, they're amazing, but, hug your parents. I mean, tell them you love them. Tell them thank you, because I mean, they support my dreams, they do it all, like,
Mhm.
they push me in my faith, they push me as a person, they've helped me grow more than I ever give them credit for, so this is for you, mom and dad.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
they are really are great.
Yeah.
Um,
They're here to serve others, and that's I mean, that's my favorite thing about them is they definitely have that servant heart. I mean, you look at them, they're serving on the fair board. My mom's a teacher. She makes her classroom a home for every student that walks in there. And then my dad, he works hard for everybody around him. So,
and they're a big part of the big brain of the rodeo.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I mean, that
become one of
kind
the
of
coolest events
it
around.
takes up our household for sure. I mean, we house some of the bull riders. We have created like a little family
Hmm.
within. I mean, we have a family in Sydney, Iowa now, I'd say, because we've got those rodeo people that, I mean, we check in with them. We see them maybe 4 times a year, but when
Hmm.
you see them, I mean, it's the best feeling ever. Um, but yeah, I mean, they're absolutely amazing. And even like outside of my parents, I think one of my biggest blessings in life is how close. I mean, you look at the Montgomery family and like we're close. We're all here around Brookfield. We go to church together.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, just that family that I've been blessed with. And I mean, I've got great grandparents on both sides. Like, it's amazing. And I feel so blessed. They support me in everything. They show up, they're a house to go to. I mean, like the family that I've been blessed with is like absolutely insane. They're God sent, literally.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I could talk about my family all day,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you brought that up.
No, I know them well, and they're just always
Yeah,
been really kind to me, and I
yeah,
appreciate them.
yeah.
So, I mean, anything else?
I mean, I don't think so. I covered a lot of it, so
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you finding time.
yeah,
We've been trying to make this work for a few
yeah.
weeks, and like didn't work for me, didn't work for
That's
you.
okay.
Um,
We're here now, so.
I also have your camera battery.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, shout out to him. I forgot my camera battery at Macon at the wedding we worked together, but that's how small business people
Yep.
support each other.
Support each
So
other. So thank you so much for coming
yeah,
on
thank
today.
you.
Make sure you check out NDM Media on Facebook, TikTok,
Instagram.
Instagram. I mean, some fantastic photos.
Thanks.
And do you think you'll be back for any Brookfield sporting events this year?
I mean, I have to be. I've got, I've still got friends in high school. I mean, I don't know how I couldn't come back. I mean, they support my work like no other. They're always sharing my posts, liking my posts. So, and that makes a huge difference
Well,
for
I
us
just
small
don't know
business people.
if people even realize in Brookfield how lucky we are to have you and
I
Mr.
know we've
Matt
got Matt
Anderson,
Anderson. Yeah,
and that combination. It's really given us all some amazing memories.
yeah. We're blessed. I mean, we're blessed in a lot of things. So, Brookfield is definitely a blessed community.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again. Make sure you check her out. That's it for today. Episode 10 in the books. See
See
you
ya.
guys.